Hi, this is Jessie, your host, and welcome to a new episode of Marketing Talks. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Tina Roos. Hello, Tina.
Hi, Jessie.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
You are most welcome at OSB. And today I'm so excited because we're going to cover a topic that is really interesting, which is how businesses can make social media a better place. And since you've been in the field for more than 20 years, you are a marketing consultant and university lecturer, we want to hear everything about this topic. But first, I would like to ask you, when we say businesses, are we talking about corporations or influencers or SMEs maybe?
We're talking definitely about all
of them.
All of them.
Okay, great.
And it's about the corporation, and it's about the personal brands, or also called influencers.
Okay.
They were born actually with the social media era, and the term didn't exist before. And by influencer, I know that today we call anyone influencer with a significant amount of impact on social media. But initially, the right definition of an influencer is someone sharing an authentic side of their life with a certain community of followers.
Okay, so so we can consider influencers as a brand, right?
Yeah, it's a personal brand.
Okay, perfect. And okay, so let's see why social media became a top priority as a communication channel for all those businesses.
Well, for the past decades, we can say that marketing is the industry which has witnessed the biggest revolution with the internet and social media.
Yes.
And like any novelty, we want to jump on it, and it has succeeded because social media, unlike any other communication medium, gave this beautiful gift to brands and businesses, having the ability to do a conversation live with their dream customers. So it wasn't possible before. You cannot have a discussion through a billboard or a TV ad or even a pop-up shop if you do not have access to all your community at once.
So before it was passive, we can consider it passive, and now it's more active and a two-way conversation.
Yeah, it's a two-way conversation. Definitely is the right word.
Perfect. Okay, so what is the impact of social media on business sales? So you said social media gave them this gift. So can we say, are they just focusing on social media because they're getting a return on their investment there, whether it's time or the content?
I love your question because actually the sales depend on the type of content and the strategy that you have on social media.
Okay.
What I am seeing in general is that businesses are treating social media, Instagram, Facebook, and others, like a sales media and not a social media.
So they're just saying, buy our products all the time.
Kind of, it's very commercial.
Okay.
And we are missing the point of social media because being social is about building relationship, which is the whole purpose of modern marketing. So building relationship, you have to be patient when it comes to attracting your dream customer.
Yes.
Your customer is a person which needs to be informed, which needs to engage, trust, and then invest in your product or service. And the higher the price, the more time it requires to have sales. But unfortunately, we lack patience, and we're like, okay, so when I open or when I do this Instagram strategy or Facebook strategy, when will I start to sell? It's like asking when you meet someone, when will we become friends, or when will we get married? I mean, it depends on so many things. You have this whole process to go through.
So they don't have just to sell on social media. What you're saying is maybe cool down a little bit, sell a little bit, but also maybe be educational or entertaining from the other part?
In a general way, but under this, we go through so many details, meaning if you treat your brand like a person, if we are talking about relationship.
Yes.
For example, you, Jessie, you are more than Lebanese, beautiful woman, tall, with black eyes. You are more than this. You are your personality, your character, your background, your story, your childhood. It's the same for brands, meaning that in order to invest in you, the dream customer must know if you are serving their needs, if you understand them, if you genuinely care for them. They want to know what is the production process. They want to know who is the team behind it. What is the after sale about? So it's about sharing and proving behind the screen that everything that is about your brand is true and trustworthy. This is the big challenge.
Okay. Otherwise, it will be like lying. So we can consider businesses, they have a responsibility on social media towards maybe the vulnerable or the young generation. What do you think?
I wouldn't say they are lying. I would say they are missing the whole purpose of what social media is about.
Okay. So they're like exaggerating.
No, they are, I would say it's being very superficial. And they are not understanding why it's not working. It's not about copying what another brand. Sometimes they tell me, yeah, but this brand is so successful, and what they do on Instagram is exactly that like we're doing it. Okay, but they didn't start at the same time. It wasn't the same brand environment. It wasn't, they are not doing the same job on site. So let's say, for example, if a big brand joined now Instagram, if they are already famous from TV or the cinema or radio, they would get, depending on, let's say, the states, they would get millions of followers because they are already very famous. But if you are a new brand, it's not the same. If you are working differently on the ground, it's not the same. It's a whole environment that's different.
Okay. So let's get to the essence of our main topic today. How can businesses make social media a better place? Can we maybe just say it in a bullet points or go straight forward to the topic?
Yeah, well, actually, this is a very, very modern and hot topic, 2023, because social media has served and is serving so much businesses, but also like anything, there are pros and cons.
Yes.
I love this word, two words actually, balance and limits.
Okay.
The thing is, nothing is 100% positive or 100% negative. We just have to always focus on the added value and the good that we are giving to the community and the world.
Okay.
And when it comes to making social media a better place, in terms of businesses as corporate brands, I would say caring. Caring meaning being genuinely interested in what the dream customer wants. Taking the time, not being obsessed with this, okay, I'm gonna post and say that I have the best quality and it's refund is okay and whatever, and that's it. It's so much more than that. It's about how you make your dream customer feel. How do they want to feel? Do you really know what they take into consideration to decide whether they buy from you or not? It's so much more than quality and being trendy and being comfortable. Any brand selling dresses, for example, so many could say, I sell quality dresses and I sell something that's comfortable and 100% cotton. But it's so much more than that to attract someone, to feel that they are part of your story and they relate to you. And this is in terms of businesses working on their content, and it could only be done through a very well-targeted social media strategy. Now, when it comes to the influencers, which are also a big part of this social media world and this business, I would say that TikTok, influencers on TikTok are a great example of what it is like to take authenticity to the next level.
Okay.
And when it comes to the Instagram influencers, which have done a great job, it is time to also drop these filters for the ones who are still using it. It's true that no one wants to see if you're fighting with your husband. No need to put on this live camera and, to sound authentic. No one wants to see that. But this 100% polished life, when everything is perfect and glittery and
Shiny.
Cinderella, we're a bit past this. So it would be also beautiful to share your struggles and how you overcome them,
Yes.
to share what you've been through and how you overcame them, only if it makes sense
To your audience.
to your audience and in this mission and authentic side of their life that you're sharing. Only that. If you do not feel like doing it, don't do it. Because when you are doing it, you have to sound okay with that.
Real, yeah. And so what about those collaborations between brands and influencers? How do you usually, do they choose each other, or
Well,
it's based on the audience?
I can't say, I can speak for how I work with my clients, since I've done so many collaborations for my clients.
Yes.
I can speak only on how I work. So I always ask, what is your business objective and how can the campaign serve this business objective?
Okay.
If it's about awareness, we have to look at the number of followers, the objective of the campaign, and the budget also, because there have to be some consequent budget to it.
Yeah, I heard some influencers are charging huge amounts of money just for one post and one story.
It depends. There isn't like a sort of ranking. There isn't something like between X number of follower and X number of follower, they charge this much or this much. Everybody's charging as they feel, since it's a service. So
Okay.
when you go to ask for a service,
Yes.
this a person won't take as much as this person.
Yes.
Sometimes it's justified, sometimes it's not.
Okay.
But it depends on depends on this budget, and we have the chance to have these metrics to work around them. If we want to talk about trust, we have to look at the engagement of the influencers. So thanks today to so many tools
And the
online that
algorithm,
we are using, we are using the engagement tool to also help beat this buying fake followers issue and frustration for the people who have never bought fake followers and feel frustrated by brands going only towards people with high followers. We
Yes.
are today using most of the time this engagement calculation to make sure that this influencer will be serving the brand's and the campaign's objective, because I'm all about results oriented for the influencer and for the brand. This is very important. And when it comes to sales, the promo code is very helpful. Clicking on this link is very helpful. So everything is tracked. But everything needs to be set up in advance to know where we're going.
Okay, great. So is there any collaboration between a brand and an influencer that you recall and that you loved? And you feel it served the brand and the audience of the influencer?
Well, I have worked with developed tens of collaboration for the brands I worked with. It was with people in politics, it was people in fashion, it was Gen Zs, it was students in schools, it was women who are in business and very influential. So I really targeted many fields. I have the chance to work with so many influencers. In order not to play favorite with my clients and the campaigns that I worked on, I'm gonna talk about my favorite campaign, which was done abroad.
Okay.
So L'Oréal in 2022, building on this, making the social media world a better place, they have worked on this lessons of worth with their women brand ambassadors. So we are talking about Eva Longoria, we are talking about Kate Winslet, and each of them has told the story about how I'm worth it.
Okay.
Je le vaux bien, which has been the slogan for L'Oréal since forever, served them and empowered them in their life. And the Kate Winslet is my favorite, her testimonial, because she was engaging with the person watching, telling her to stand up, go watch herself in the mirror, talk to herself. And she was also at the same talking about how it's at the end, maybe she's a star, but at the end the makeup comes off, and she was at the same time removing her makeup, and you could see like her with raw.
Nice.
And I just loved how empowering and authentic this was.
That's nice. That's nice. Listen, I know you don't want to mention any influencer who's your favorite and so forth, but you mentioned some influencers who look real and who talk about their own struggles and how they overcame them. Is there anyone in particular that, it doesn't have to be your favorite, but like we can give an example of an influencer who focus on this topic, maybe not just in Lebanon, maybe in the MENA region as well?
I'm going to talk about actually the first one that I recall as Lebanese who tackled this authenticity. And it's Noor Arida.
Yeah.
We all love her.
Yeah.
And
I love her as well.
Noor is subject and could be subject to more attacks than someone else because, you know, the higher the success.
Yeah.
And talking about the fact that nothing can be 100% positive. With great success comes great responsibility, which she approached by showing herself bare face with what her face looks like when she's tired, what her face looks like when she's not wearing makeup, when she's not photoshopped. And she was also sharing from time to time when she was bullied in school,
Yeah.
and she shared also how she got bullied by being authentic.
Oh.
So imagine, like, you're bullied when you're all glittery, and you're also bullied when you show your bare face. And she said that I will never stop sharing my struggles and sharing my authenticity just because I want to empower these young adults who were born in this social media era and who think that the world is so perfect. It's not. And we want to address these fragile minds who are still getting to know themselves. And we want to tell them that no life is perfect and it's not okay to bully and it's okay to stand out for yourself. And I just love it. Of course, Karen Wazen also shared it. She lives, the Lebanese who lives in Dubai. Also, we love her. And so these girls were not ashamed of
showing
their vulnerability.
Yeah.
Vulnerability.
Yeah. They're showing their true self with their families, with their kids.
Yes.
I remember also the campaign of Dove, and I think it's still ongoing. They want to show women with their own skin. They did a campaign with showing different ladies with different skin tones. So the focus on people to show themselves, their true selves, is common. So it's not just L'Oreal, it's Dove and other brands. It's Lux now in Lebanon. I've seen their campaign with women, if you've seen it. So it's really nice. It's really nice. So it's like really here we're saying that, yes, some brands are already trying to make social media a better place through those campaigns and those collaborations.
I think Dove, because I teach it in the university, Dove were the pioneer when it comes to showing women with cellulite, showing women overweight, showing women with belly, along with women who had thinner bodies.
Nice.
So they were the pioneer with that. And I teach also, I show a campaign that is like more than a decade old, but I just love it, about the campaign of Dove. So there is someone who worked in the police department in the States, and you know when he was an expert in sketching.
Yes.
Portrait
Yes.
robot.
Yes, when
When you want
is trying to describe the criminal.
Exactly.
There's someone.
So this guy, he used to draw portrait robot, and when you're describing him. And what is beautiful in this? First, you don't know that it's Dove. Huh? So you have the guy coming and saying, I used to work in the police or FBI or whatever. And then you have one woman after another, and they tell her, describe yourself. And she's like, I have a chin that I don't really like. It's like this. My eyes are a bit sad. I have not so bad hair. So they describe themselves, but not really in a very positive way. All of them. And this is how we usually are, you know. We wouldn't say, oh my God, my hair is so beautiful and my eyes and whatever. And you have someone else coming in and they tell her, this woman that you sat with in the waiting room, tell us, what does she look like? And she was describing her, but so much more positive. Her hair was like that. She had such a beautiful smile. She seemed so kind. And then we show for each woman, this is how you described yourself. And this is how the woman who saw you described you. And you could see how the same person looked so much more beautiful when described by someone else. And how she downgraded herself when she was speaking of her. Nice. And then at the end, you saw the woman and you're like, everybody is shaking and you have tears in the students' eyes and tears in the women seeing themselves. And the guy saying, you should start to love yourself more. And she said, definitely, each one of her. And at the end, you have this beautiful slogan by Dove.
That's a nice.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry.
No, don't cry.
You are
to give positive
something about you are beautiful just the way you are, or something, and then Dove. And this is so much more powerful. Such a beautiful example of a not commercial campaign. You don't need to say, I'm the best soap, the most creamy soap. You just serve the women what they needed to feel more confident, to feel more beautiful.
That's nice. So it's like here today, what we're doing is a kind of a reminder for businesses. Keep in mind your audience. Keep in mind
they need. What do they need to feel? What do they need to? Why would you invest in a $10,000 Chanel bag and not in a $10,000 XYZ bag? Not because the quality and the design and everything. Okay, so why not buy a copy? They can copy maybe the quality, the design, and so on, because it's about how this brand makes you feel. It's about the woman behind it, this Coco Chanel woman, the woman who is so empowering, her story. It's about what she believed the woman could be. It's about what Chanel does to the community. It's about this aura, this atmosphere, everything.
And listen, do you think those brands, for example, those big brands, do they have their own in-house team or they work maybe with other agencies? So is it really our message here to the brand itself or to the team who prepares their campaign?
Well, at the end, it's the team and the one who has to approve it. Because I think that what keeps businesses and people behind is fear. Fear of testing. And in marketing, we have to test. We have to. It's because people get used to the same. Someone would tell me, Dior doesn't need advertising. They're already known. It's not true. With the level of visuals that we see today and the quantity that we see that we're exposed to, you would forget a brand, even if it's worldwide known, they didn't communicate, if they didn't present themselves when they are so renowned differently. Today we see a pop-up shop, Patisserie Prada. We see Ralph Lauren restaurant. Why? Because they are so renowned that today they need to invite the customer to experience their brand and their story differently. So, because the eye gets used to it. Imagine Polo Ralph Lauren only communicating all the time on this polo shirt, polo shirt, polo shirt. We would get bored very, very easily.
Very quickly.
Mm.
Yes. And listen, I have one more thing to ask you. So we're focusing here on let's say more on social media. Is it because it's the only place or where people are spending most of their time? What about offline? What about the store experience? What about maybe when they deliver a product, maybe there's a message in the box, or aren't we focusing a lot on social media? Can those messages be maybe offline as well, or at least in parallel?
I love this question so much because so many thought that after COVID, there wouldn't be any more physical shops. There wouldn't be any more anything else than the internet. We couldn't be any more far from the reality. We are human beings. We need to feel, to touch. These 5 senses that we have, they need to be triggered. When it's social media, it's only about seeing. What about touching, smelling, tasting? We need to be triggered in all those ways.
Yeah.
And mainly it's human connections. So yes, the above the line and the below the line are still very much happening. The events, the pop-up shops. You have internet websites who only sell online, who do pop-up shops to get more physical and real with their community.
Yeah.
So TV is still here, billboard, but it's always about what's the business objective.
Yeah.
Who is the target audience? What is the problem that we are looking to solve through this marketing activity? We can't solve all problems at once. What do we want? Are we going through a crisis management? Are we going through trust issue? Are we looking to conquer a new market? Everything needs to be tackled differently. Social media is not the only solution by far, but at least let's try to use it as it should be, as social.
And ethically. Yeah, I totally agree. Tina, thanks so much for all those points of view. And I really enjoyed our talk today. Thanks for watching and listening, and see you in the next one.